Have you ever stopped to wonder what you're really made of? I mean, if you go way down, past the cells, past the DNA, what do you find? You find these tiny, incredibly powerful molecules that, well, they write the story of all life. Today, we're going to talk about amino acids.
All right, here's the game plan for our explainer. First, we'll get a handle on what these things actually are. Then, we'll check out the amazing variety they come in. After that, we'll uncover some of their surprising side hustles. And finally, we'll connect it all back to the food you eat. Simple as that.
So let's kick things off with the big picture. We need to understand what amino acids are, and more importantly, why they are so fundamental to everything that's alive. So let me ask you this. If you had to pick the single most important building block of life, what comes to mind? Maybe DNA or cells? Well, you can make a really strong case that the answer is amino acids.
And this really puts it all into perspective. Just think about it. If you took out all the water in your body, what's left over? It's mostly protein. And every single bit of that protein is built from amino acids. So they're not just some minor ingredient. They are, quite literally, what we're made of.
So what is an amino acid, technically speaking? Well, at its core, it's a molecule that kind of has two hands. One end is an amino group, the other is a carboxylic acid group. And that two-handed structure, that's its superpower. It lets each molecule grab onto two others, which is how they link up to form these super long and stable chains.
But of course, life isn't built with just one kind of building block. To get all the incredible complexity we see around us, it needs a whole set of tools. It needs an alphabet. And now, we're going to explore that very alphabet.
So think about it just like our own alphabet. In English, we use 26 letters to write every poem, novel, and text message you can imagine. Life's genetic code does something similar, but it uses just 22 fundamental amino acids to build every single protein, from the stuff inside a tiny microbe to the muscles of a giant whale. So you might be asking, how can you have 22 different kinds? Well, while they all share that same basic backbone structure we just talked about, each one has a special little attachment. It's called a side chain or an R group. And that's the key. That's what gives each amino acid its own unique personality and its specific job.
And those personalities are incredibly different. Take glycine here. It's the smallest one, super flexible, which makes it perfect for squeezing into tight corners inside a protein structure. Then you've got something like lysine. It has a positive charge, so it acts like a little magnet, helping it grab onto negatively charged DNA. And leucine, it's hydrophobic. It hates water, so it always tries to bury itself deep inside a protein just to stay dry.
Okay, but here's where it starts even cooler and a little weird. Most amino acids are what we call chiral. All that means is that they come in two forms that are mirror images of each other. Think about your hands. They're made of the same parts, but they're flipped. You can't lay your left hand perfectly on top of your right. We call these the L form and the D form. And this leads us to one of the biggest and strangest mysteries in all of biology. You see, the amino acids that actually build proteins, what we call the proteogenic ones, are all left-handed. Every single one of them. For some reason that we still don't understand, life here on Earth picked the L version and just stuck with it. It's a universal rule in almost every living thing, and scientists are still scratching their heads about why.
Now you'd think being the alphabet for every protein in existence is a pretty huge job, and it is. But it turns out that's not all these molecules are up to. They have a whole bunch of other critical and sometimes pretty surprising roles in our bodies.
But first, let's just quickly see how their main job works. It's actually pretty straightforward. To build a protein, two amino acids line up, a water molecule gets kicked out, and then, snap, a super strong link called a peptide bond forms between them.
Now, just imagine that simple step happening over and over and over again, sometimes thousands of times. You get this long chain, which is called a polypeptide. That chain then folds itself up into a crazy complex 3D shape, and that's it. That's a working protein ready to go do its job.
But here's the amazing part. Even before they get linked into those big chains, individual amino acids have crucial side jobs. Your body takes the amino acid tryptophan and turns it into serotonin, the neurotransmitter that helps keep your mood stable. It uses tyrosine to make adrenaline for that fight or flight response. They're even used to build the very nucleotides that make up your DNA. The point is, amino acids aren't just for making muscle. They are essential for your brain, your genes, and basically how you experience the world.
So this brings us to a really practical question. If these molecules are so important,
Where do we get them? Let's connect all this amazing science back to what's on our plates.
You see, while our bodies are like incredible little chemical factories, they can't make everything from scratch. Out of those 22 protein-building amino acids, there are 9 that are called essential for us humans. And essential means one very simple thing: our bodies can't make them. We absolutely have to get them from our food. No exceptions.
And here they are, the essential 9. This is why you hear nutritionists talk about complete proteins, right? Foods like meat, eggs, and fish are complete because they have all 9 of these guys in one convenient package. And that's so important, because if your diet is missing even one of these essential blocks, your body's whole protein-building assembly line just grinds to a halt.
And what's really interesting is that when you look at the protein we usually eat, it's not an even mix. Some amino acids are way more common than others. Glutamate and its cousin glutamine make up a huge piece of the pie. And you've definitely heard of glutamate before. It's the G in MSG. It's used as a flavor enhancer for a very simple reason. Our taste buds are literally hardwired to go looking for it.
So when you boil it all down, from our muscles to our moods, it all comes back to these 22 little molecules. They are the alphabet that evolution used to write the entire incredible story of life on this planet. And it just makes you wonder, as we get better and better at reading that alphabet, what amazing new stories are we going to learn to spell next?